Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about this documentary that was released on HBO Max called Class Action Park, which is about this water park that was made during the 80s and 90s that was just a huge disaster all around, that had a lot of scandal behind it, that caused a lot of deaths, that is just a giant terrible situation. I learned about this from this show called SEN, the Schmodown Entertainment Network. If you guys have not seen their stuff, go watch it. They had an interview with one of the directors and they were talking about this place, and apparently if you were in the New Jersey and New York area during that time, you knew about Action Park, whether you knew it as this super dangerous, terrifying place that you kind of wanted to avoid, or this place that all these kids went to for fun because they knew there was that dangerous aspect of going there, because many people got hurt. Countless amounts of people got hurt every day, every hour, every half hour. They were saying that people got hurt on certain rides, and you can sit at one of the stands, at one of the lifeguard stands for 30 minutes, and you'll see maybe 5 or 6 injuries during that time. And that is just terrifying how much they got away with making this park. And so this documentary really was an eye-opening experience watching it, because things like this just don't happen anymore. At least you hope that this stuff doesn't happen anymore, because it truly was unnerving. And what the director does so well making this documentary was balancing that aspect of the comedy and the lightheartedness of how ridiculous this entire situation was, and the serious drama and kind of the heart-wrenching stuff that happened to some of these families and some of the victims of Action Park, that was just terrible and heartbreaking stories from some of the families that they get to towards the end of this film. And it's just completely crushing watching this documentary, and the balance that they made during this documentary was incredible. And I really enjoyed watching this thing, because you had those lighthearted moments where you had some of the people who used to work there talking about how crazy things were, and how they would have these giant parties, or how they would have these positions for new people where they just kind of sit them on the chair and it's like, okay, this is where you learn what this place is. This is where you go to see the most injuries, so you can get your feet in the water and really know what's going on in this place, so you're prepared for it. And the fact that a lot of these children that were running this place didn't even care, and they kind of just thought it was fun, and people get injured, and they had this weird medical spray that they would spray onto people's injuries. That was just, it's insane. This movie is insane. And if you guys, I'm telling you, if you guys have an HBO Max subscription, this is very much worth watching. It's called Class Action Park, and it's just the craziest story. And so the majority of this film is about the guy who created Action Park, named Gene Mulvihill, who was just a complete scumbag. And they kind of get into this documentary of how every kind of theme park or water park is kind of taken from the mind and imagination of those who created it. So Walt Disney, of course, creating Disney World and Disneyland out of his own imagination of wanting to create this world and this place for kids to love and enjoy, whereas the world that this guy wanted to make was a world without rules, some place that kids can just do anything they wanted, where they really pushed the boundaries and really leaped over those boundaries. And how this guy manipulated the system and really abused his power of creating his own insurance company, so he didn't have to deal with insurance about these things. How he dragged out courtroom appearances just to the max, until people just kind of either gave up, or just even the government started like, okay, this place is making so much money for us, we can't just shut them down. And there's so much corruption behind the running of Action Park. And when it starts getting to the deaths that occurred on this park, it's really terrifying, of these things that they got away with, that is really reminiscent of some of the corruption stories that we hear now. That is truly terrifying of what people in power can get away with. And this is just a water park. Can you imagine this on a more national scale? This is terrifying that this kind of stuff happens, and how this one guy, this one terrible, no good, just scumbag, was able to do all these things. And after one death, you'd think they shut down the place, but no, they don't even really know how many people died at this place. They have a number, but they aren't really sure if more was covered up from this, because that's what they did. They covered up. They lied about the deaths. They twisted the stories, saying like, oh, these things were happening after hours while it's raining, and none of that was true. None of that was true at all. And it is such a terrifying story, yet put in a package that is very entertaining and very, it really does teach you something, and it's terrifying. It really is. I can't stress that enough. Everything that they put in this film really fleshed out the story of Action Park, and I feel like I've been there. It's such an in-depth documentary, and I really enjoyed it. Some of the testaments in the interviews that they got were outrageous. This one guy, the main guy that they're interviewing, he was just kind of I think he was just a resident who went to Action Park when he was a kid, and he was hilarious. He was very funny, and some of these interviews were just were just crazy. Some of these stories that they tell about this place. And, my teacher always brags about how he grew up in New York and he's born in New Jersey. So next class, I'm going to ask him if he knew what Action Park is, because I almost guarantee you that if you were in that area, and if you guys in the audience had been to this place when it was still open, when it was Action Park, and now, it's kind of been remodeled and changed into a normal water park that's now safe. But if you were around during that time when this place was open, tell us some of your stories. I think that'd be very fascinating to hear. Action Park seems like the most insane, crazy place that a child can go to, and that just doesn't happen anymore. We don't have places for kids that are so loose on restrictions, and how there's some rides that just didn't have lifeguards because, the Colorado River doesn't have lifeguards, so this Colorado River ride won't have lifeguards. And that was the thought process behind the creator of this place. Truly insane. So that is my review for Class Action Park. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys comment down below what you guys thought of the film and leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews just like this one. I just put out a review for Mulan, and I'm thinking of ending. I just had a review out for that one. So subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment below, do all the things, hit the bell, tell other people about my channel, because we are starting to grow, which is awesome. So thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.